Hi again guys, and welcome to another speed build, of course for GT Sport in particular. This time for a car which you're probably thinking, well, how can you even do a tune for that? You can barely do anything to the vehicle anyway. If you scroll down, you can't even adjust the gears, you can't adjust the diff, you can't even adjust the downforce, and it's got a lot of it. So really, what's the point? Surely, however fast it is what you've got to work with, and that's it. Well, actually no, because this car has a lot to offer. Of course, the Bugatti Group X version, in particular of the Vision GT, this car can do the high 280s anyway. With this tune, you can actually get it to do 291. Now, for the thumbnail, as I've said before, I don't really like putting 289 or 291 because they just don't sound that good. Even though 291, of course, is faster, but I just rounded it off to 290. It can, though, do 291 under its own power, and of course you can slipstream even quicker. So as far as the weight, you want that set as low as you can go, of course. As far as traction control, I'd recommend having it turned off, because you've got a ton of downforce and all-wheel drive, so you just don't need it. As far as the tyres, they do make a difference. If you've got it on mediums or hards, it will be slower. Not just for top speed, but for acceleration as well, so I would strongly recommend those. And then it's all down to the suspension in terms of getting that kind of top speed advantage. Now, I've actually raced this against another VGT, another Bugatti in particular, and technically they should be neck and neck. They weren't. By the end of like one lap, I think I was about 2 seconds ahead, just because of these differences that I've done with the tune. So it really does make a difference. So in lobbies that can't use the Tomahawk, this tends to be the car that people go for. Either that or the Mazda LM55, but I definitely see more of these used. So as far as the suspension on the frequency, first of all, you want that as low as you can go. Then as far as the anti-roll, you want that as low as possible as well. Continuing that with the dampers for both compression and the rebound, you want those as low as they can go. You cannot adjust the camber, but for the toe, you want it completely neutral so that you are not dragging your tyres at all. And that's literally it. That's all you can do to the car in terms of tuning. You can't even do oil changes anymore, but that was good enough to dominate another Bugatti that I was up against. So this tune makes a huge difference, because when all the cars are so similar, 1 or 2 miles per hour is really enough to clinch a victory more often than not. So that's it for the tune, but of course now what you want to see is what it can do in action. Now, as far as the performance goes, the ironic thing about this car is that it's one of the fastest cars in GT Sport. Of course, it's not as quick as a Tomahawk, but in terms of more normal-ish machines, it's one of the quickest things out there. But it's actually very similar to how fast the cars were in GT6 anyway. A load of cars could do this kind of speed, so it's funny how that compares. Now, as I said, it actually is faster than the thumbnail and the title. I said 290, but it can do 291. Now, I might end up putting 291 in the thumbnail anyway, but I don't generally like putting that because it's just not a rounded number, it doesn't look that cool. In terms of handling, you might think that being really soft on the settings would make it wallowy or bad handling, but it's actually even better there as well, because bouncing around on rock-hard suspension is not always ideal, either in a straight line or through corners. It's great for cornering, of course, but for straight line speed, it just sends you basically rocketing across every bump in the road. Whereas if you can soak up the bumps a bit more, it actually helps for speed, basically. So you are bouncing around on the red line at about 293, 294, under its own power 290, 291, so you've got slipstream potential there. And again, if you're going up against something like an LM55, you're going to lose anyway because it's slower. If you're up against a Tomahawk, you're going to lose because it's not even close. Anything else pretty much can't keep up. So if you do decide to use this tune, I hope of course you have a ton of fun with it. In terms of kilometers, it's 469 under its own power for those who are wondering. And yeah, if you want to check out my other tunes, click here on screen, and of course stick around on the channel because I'm going to be doing loads more as well. But for now, as always, thanks for watching.